Hello, fellow collectors. So this is going to be episode 8 of Coffee, there we go, and Cards. And on this episode, we are going to be talking about, Kevin Maas. What an interesting story this one is. So first off, this coffee mug comes from my daughter Grace, and she got me this coffee mug for Father's Day. I'm a big Donald Duck fan, so love this coffee cup here. Now, if you were a collector back in 1990, you know all about Kevin Maas, and specifically the 1990 Upper Deck Kevin Maas. So Kevin Maas played for the New York Yankees, obviously, as you can see, and he was called up by the New York Yankees in the middle of the 1990 season, and the Yankees were not having a good year at all. In Kevin Maas's first 77 at-bats of the 1990 season, he hit 10 home runs. So you can just imagine the hysteria that was going on around that, and he finished the year with 21 home runs, and he was second in the Rookie of the Year award, which went to Sandy Alomar Jr. So at this time, we have just had come off of the hysteria around Greg Jeffries. Ken Griffey Jr. was the following year, and obviously we all know how that went with him and his rookie card, and that was the first year of Upper Deck. And this being the second year of Upper Deck, we have a new rookie sensation of Kevin Maas. Now, his card prices didn't go quite as crazy as obviously Griffey's did, but still, this rookie card here was still a decent price. If I remember right, I would say at least in the $5 to $10 range at the time when all of his home run hitting was going on for the New York Yankees. What is interesting too about Kevin Maas and the hysteria around him at that time was it was repeated, in the near future with Jeremy Lin and Linsanity when Jeremy Lin went off to the New York Knicks back, around 2010, 11-ish. So kind of the same deal. Had that, it was a huge amount of success early, and then all of New York City and kind of the nation followed pursuit in wanting to follow him and knowing what was going on. Now, a few interesting facts. If you look at the back of this card, Kevin Maas was never rated a top prospect. So when you look at the back of his card, his batting average was decent, but he didn't have this power numbers that we saw when he came up to the major leagues. So, like I said, the Yankees were having a really bad season that year. Mattingly was getting hurt quite a bit at that time. With being the first baseman for the Yankees, a lot of people thought that he was going to be the replacement for Mattingly there. In his second season, he ended up hitting 23 home runs, which is a decent number, but his batting average dropped to 220, and he also ran into injury problems, and he only lasted in the league a few more years before finally his career came to an end. Now, because of the nostalgia around him and his cards, the PSA 10s of some of his rookie cards sell for an okay amount, around the $30 range. I personally probably will be looking for a PSA either 9 or 10 of this card itself. Now, he did have other rookie cards at the time. He does have a Score One, the Leaf version of this card of Kevin Maas is very popular as well. Now, Topps didn't have a base card of him in 1990. It came out in their Topps traded set that came out later in the year. One last little fun fact, there is an error card from his rookie year. The 1990 Leaf, Bob Guerin, I believe I'm saying that right. He played for the Yankees. On his Leaf card, the back of his Leaf card has Kevin Maas's back of his card. So for those who are interested in error cards and chasing error cards, there is that one to look out for. So, love the story. Whenever I see his cards, always brings back fun memories from when I was collecting myself back in those days. So if anyone has any comments about their time collecting and collecting Kevin Maas, leave them down in the comments below. And otherwise, hope everyone's doing well. Until next time, be good. Go Yankees.